All right, now on to blue. We'll start with Phantasmal Bear. This card is honestly really good. Not really all that much of an aggressive creature, and obviously he's got the illusion ability, so he dies to any removal, but most tutus do anyways. So it's not that big of a deal. Really good to throw this out early. Can sometimes just trade with either a combat trick or a bolt or just another creature, and can keep you alive longer. It's just a nice, cool card. We got a Delver of Secrets. I have a very short story about this. I saw this in a store, and I picked it up, and then I looked on the back and realized it's really hard to tell, actually, but there's glue all over the back of this card. And I said, what happened? And I said, somebody, like, as a cruel joke, glued this to a table. And so I asked the shopkeep, hey, like, how much would you sell that for? And he kind of gives me this weird look, and he just hands it to me. So got myself a free foil Delver. Like I said, it's really hard to tell, actually. And I had a friend who said, you can actually kind of tell this little grainy stuff here. He actually said that it almost adds to the art. But the most important thing is, foil Delver, I got for free because I passed my charisma checks. Next, onto the 2-drops, we've got Spellweaver Eternal. I really like this guy in the Spells Matters decks. I think he's super fun. I think the Afflict is just brutal. You just pump this guy up to high heaven, and even if he gets chumped, he still gets in some damage. So he's really way sweet. We got an Omen Speaker, good for the Flicker deck. We've got a Kitesail Courser, just a good attacking flyer. I kind of like this a little bit better than the Vaporkin. I'd rather have it be able to trade for blockers if that is necessary. It makes him a lot more flexible. But if this guy doesn't work out, I'll probably just put in Vaporkin back again. We got good old Merfolk Looter. We got Looter Ilkor. Really great, awesome card engine. We've got Augur of Bolas, another good in either control or Flicker. Obviously, Flicker is making the best use of him, but him being a 1/3, he can block a lot of tokens and a lot of 2/2s and keep you alive as a control deck when you're running blue-black control. Seagate Oracle, same deal. Good old card advantage. You basically just have a 1/3 that can block a lot of things, and it's also a sleight of hand on top of that. Pretty sweet. We got Jesse's Girl. Oh, where can I find some prowess like that? Really good way to draw some extra cards. And again, another 1/3 meant to stifle some of the aggro decks. We got Stormbound Geist, just a really annoying threat that just keeps coming back. Gotta get this guy in foil. I just got it. We got Tim, Prodigal Pyromancer. I still need to get a nicer copy. I don't really care so much about White Border. I think White Border is fine, but just this card in general is kind of ugly looking, so I want to improve on this. Good old Mana War. This has to be in the cube. Got Nimbus Naiad, which is basically a Windrake, but occasionally you can just pay 5 and get a Windrake included into one of your creatures. And then when that creature dies, you have a Windrake left over. So just kind of a better Windrake. Certainly not one of the bombs of the cube, but man, puts in a lot of work. Certainly. Stitch Drake is another one that I've been testing out for quite some time. I think he's really cool. He's a 3/4. You got to exile a creature from a graveyard, but a 3/4 flyer for 3 is not bad at all. We got Water Trap Weaver. I decided to run Water Trap Weaver as opposed to Frost Lynx. Same exact creature, 3 mana for a 2/2. You get to freeze something when it comes into play. This has a relevant creature type. I don't think I'm ever going to do Tribal in this cube, but the fact that it's Merfolk and Wizard, might actually matter at some point. So we got Mist Raven, which is just flying Mana War, so that's sweet. We got Ninja of the Deep Hours, because great way to draw cards. Throw this on an evasive threat and just swap them out. You do some great stuff. Shimmering Glassguide is a 2/3 that has 1-time hexproof each turn. The first spell that or ability that targets it gets countered, so it's really hard to remove this. Can get in some good beats in the air. We got Archaeomancer, which can get back your spells. We got Peregrine Drake, which can do disgusting, gross things with the Flicker deck. We got good old Muldrifter. This card needs no introduction. It's just great in cube. I've seen, like I said, powered cubes run Muldrifters. So the fact that it's common, so going in here. And I was able to acquire this beautiful F&M foil. We got a Mnemonic Wall, another thing that can get back your spells. We got Aether Snipe. And just another thing that you can bounce. I've seen actually people one time actually cast Aether Snipe, and in response to the evoke trigger, flickered it, so he got to bounce 2 things and keep his 4/4 for 4 mana. It was gross. And then the top end, the most expensive creature is a Stripe Riverwinder. This is mainly for the Simic decks that have some ramp, so they can just ramp up to these really hard to deal with threats. 5/5 with Hexproof. There is a 5/5 with Shroud in green, but it's going to vanish. It's got vanishing or fading or something, and so this thing is just going to stick around. Also, you can cycle it if you want to, but most of the time you want to see if you can cast that. It's just a finisher. So those are the creatures. Let's move on to the spells, which is the meat of any blue cube. We got good old Brainstorm. We got Dive Down. This card is something I just threw in there because I kind of wanted something that gave hexproof. This thing is really good. I've seen people like do stuff where they just, I don't know. This is just a really, really good card. It's instant. It's 1 mana. It really puts in a lot of work in protecting things you want to protect. We got Unsummon, good in control decks and the Flicker deck. We got Impulse. We got ourselves a Counterspell. We got ourselves an Arcane Denial, a Negate, a Miscalculation, a Memory Lapse, a Think Twice. Well, think once, and then you get to think twice because you get flashback. We got Ghostly Flicker. We got Capsize, which is by far obviously the most expensive card in my cube. I pulled this because it was in, I think it was Hour of Devastation pre-release. I won some packs, and this was in one of those packs, and made me super happy, obviously. And I think once my main cube has a way to generate infinite mana, I'm going to put this back into my main cube. But until then, it's staying in here, and it's even without infinite mana, it's still quite a brutal card. There's just a lot of really good combinations you can do with it. Mainly for control decks, though. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera there. We got Dissolve, really awesome F&M foil. Frost Breath is just really good for tapping down some dudes. This can either be used in Izzet, because you're kind of doing a tempo plan there, but it can also be used in control. Tap down your biggest dudes, and just give you buy some extra time. Because it's an instant, you can tap them down when they go to combat, and then you don't have to worry about them for the next turn as well. So that's nice. Ray of Command is super silly. It's 4 mana for an instant speed Active Treason in blue. Nobody expects it, and that's what makes it so good. Hieroglyphic Illumination is incredibly versatile. You can use it to just get card advantage late game, but early game, if you're a control deck and you just need to draw into land or draw into removal spells, you can just cycle it if it's too late. If it's gonna cost too much time to wait till 4 mana. So very, very versatile. I really like it, and I've been impressed with it so far. The last instant we have is a Syncopate. I'm really happy that this is also going to get a reprint in Dominaria, and it has also very beautiful art. And because it's that common, it should be reasonably inexpensive. Hopefully. Going into the enchantments, we've got Cartouche of Knowledge, because all the cartouches are in here. This one is really good for plopping on a big fat green dude and swinging in. We got Claustrophobia, just an absolute classic. And then we've got Rustic Study as our last enchantment, I believe. Yes. Now we're getting into sorceries. We've got Ponder. Those land drops, you got to catch them all. Ponder's it's just a great. We also got the Preordain. We've got Divination, and then we finally have the beautiful Treasure Cruise. So that is blue. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for black coming up next.